Good evening, I'm Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange Live. Tonight, the ODM fallout after last Friday's fiasco, debacle, embarrassment, whatever you want to call it. Depending on who you ask, it could have been stage managed. It could have all been pre-planned. Maybe one of my guests or both may know the answer to that. We're asking the question, have things fallen apart, or has the center held in ODM? You know what time it is. It's time to ask the hard questions. It is time for Jeff Koinange Live. Joining us, we are live at the poolside of the Intercontinental Hotel. And if any of you are on the timeline on Twitter all day, since morning, you would have seen it was on fire with my two guests. They started it off and it's gone on. It's like a pre-heavyweight bout weighing in ceremony. In fact, some people are asking, what will they bring to the show after all the vitriol that went on Twitter today? Well, on my immediate right, he is the Director of Communications at the Orange Democratic Movement. Before that, he was a journalist, and so was the man right next to him. He is a journalist, writes for The Star every Monday. In his column 48 hours ago, he quit from ODM after serving loyally for several years, depending on who you ask. Why did he quit? Of last Friday's fiasco, he says. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. That's Ngunjiri Wambugu right on the right, and in the middle, Philip Etale. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. By the way, you can start tweeting or continue on the TL at Etale Phil, at Ngunjiri Wambugu, at Koinange Jeff, hashtag JKL. I know you have a million questions, as do I. Let's get busy. Etale,
yes.
You first. Ngunjiri, I'll get to you in a moment. Etale, you first.
Take your time.
Let's face it, Etale. Friday was a mess. It was a fiasco. It was something that was unprecedented, and for it to happen within a party. Come on, man. What were you people trying to do?
First, I would like to say what happened on Friday is regrettable. But again, I would like to say that democracy was at play. I'm saying this because ODM being the largest party in the country with the largest following across the country. Go to Mandera, you'll hear Standard One talk about ODM. Go to Borabu, you'll hear a Standard One talk about ODM. What I'm trying to say is that ODM is the most vibrant party in the country.
Can I stop you right there, Phil? Real quick.
Okay.
You said ODM, what we saw was democracy at play. So men in black enter the hall, surround the table where the ballot boxes were, start kicking them all over the room like they were at a football match, and you say that is democracy.
Can I ask you a question, Jeff? When men in black entered the hall, where were the men in jungle? They were armed to the tooth, ready for everything and ready for anything. The men in the jungle are constitutionally authorized to deal with anybody who is a threat to peace. Where were they? Why did they let the men in black take control of the whole thing?
Etale,
the men in black I watched on TV,
that's a ridiculous
about 5
answer,
or 10.
Etale. Ngunjiri, what do you have to say about that?
No. We have to say this. This is a fact.
You're saying GSU stood by.
The GSU stood by. You know, they are legally, they're employed to restore peace and order and ensure that everyone is in peace. But now, they let this pass, these people that you're referring to as men in black.
I'm not referring to everybody does, even you, Etale.
No,
even you.
I haven't said it here. I'm quoting you. You just said men in black. I'm just reiterating what you said. The men in black entered the hall. In the morning when I went to Kasarani, I found all the entry points to the gymnasium sealed off by heavily armed police officers, GSU, regular police, administration police, and even anti-stock theft. I don't know if there was anything to be stolen there, like cows.
Okay.
But why did these people just let the men in black that you're referring to gain entry into the hall?
Ngunjiri, your thoughts?
Yes.
Look, Etale's work is to spin, eh?
Yeah.
That's what he does, ODM. But some things you can't spin. One, there's no way you're going to tell me that those men in black were not there on the orders of ODM. And I say this for a simple reason. Nobody walks into an ODM party to mess up. You don't send 10 people into an ODM party to mess up. Inside, where there are 2,800 delegates. Notice something else. These guys walked in, they did not harm anyone. They walked straight to the ballot tables, broke the tables, destroyed the ballot boxes, destroyed the ballot papers, and left. So for me, this was a choreographed move. You cannot tell me that this happened as an accident. For them to have reached that field, for them to reach the gymnasium, they passed through ODM security. You remember we were told by the ODM leadership that they had police and private security.
Correct.
I have worked in ODM, my friends. Those men in black work for ODM. I can tell you that for a fact.
Etale, can I ask you a question? Were you there? Were you at Kasarani?
Yes, I was.
Did you see the men come in, the men in black? Because I remember an official getting on the microphone, calling them in. Official, ODM.
Let's not spin something that can't be spun.
Let me just say this, because this matter is under investigation. And in law, you cannot talk about what is under investigation. If I say anything here, it will be used against me. Let me wait for that moment.
So you're passing the buck on this, Etale? Are you passing the buck?
No. The matter is under investigation. We want to find out who these men in black were and why the police officers just stood by and watched these men in black do what they did.
Let me ask you another simple question, Etale. Do you know any one of the men in black?
No. The matter is under investigation. I wouldn't know anyone. I was there in my own capacity as the director of communications for the ODM.
You couldn't see that
I was in an orange shirt.
Okay, you couldn't see that was so-and-so, that was so. You couldn't tell? Etale, you've been at ODM
I couldn't tell because that thing happened in a flash of us. Within 3 minutes, everything was finished. You know you are in Kanu. Shut up. I'm talking on matters that...
No.
You know what?
This one I refuse.
No what?
Some things
what
you
do
cannot
you know?
spin.
Some things you can spin.
Then this guy knows what they don't know.
Okay.
So he must be investigated.
Hey, it's okay.
He must be investigated. Please.
Let me explain
any information you know.
Yes.
Let me explain
something. Before you explain, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
When you saw that scene at Kasarani, what went through your mind as an ODM member?
Because I was an ODM member then. First and foremost.
This guy has never been an ODM member.
This guy can't say that.
For
I was
only
the
3
head of
months.
Political affairs.
For only 6 months.
Let me explain something.
You joined the Raila Odinga presidential campaign secretariat in July 2012.
Yes.
Then after the election on 3rd, like today last year, you changed because whatever you wanted did not happen.
Let me explain.
And perhaps whatever you want to do there
don't spin everything. Don't spin everything.
Go on.
First and
you have never been an ODM member. I remember when you requested. Please talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple of things. Let me clarify a few things. I joined the presidential campaign in July 2012, and it would be very sad if you can become a stranger, you can get a stranger from out there
initially
to come and become a political affairs director. I was the head of operations for the presidential campaign. Every campaign that Raila did, the entire campaign period, up to March 4th, I was in charge of arranging it. I was in charge of creating budgets for it. On 3rd, after 9th of March, after the declaration, I was the one who created Democracy on Trial campaign. Remember the white t-shirts? I was in charge of distributing.
Tell us how much.
I sent them. Wait. I sent them out across the country. When Raila went to Mombasa, I'm the one who sent those t-shirts. So for him to say I left the day after the campaign is wrong. However, I would like to ask something very simple. We have a lot of clips and footage of ODM rallies in Uhuru Park, in Kisumu, in areas where it's... I want you to look at those footage and tell me you will not see those men in black.
Let me come back to the question which you didn't answer, Ngunjiri.
Yes.
What went through your mind when you saw that debacle?
Choreographed. Actually, I started losing faith. Let me tell you when I started losing faith in that campaign.
Choreographed for what?
To stop that campaign. to stop that election.
So that what? One team doesn't win over another?
So that one team does not win. It was quite clear. Remember, at some point, the National Elections Board chairperson read the names of the candidates. At the point when they read Ababu's name, the whole hall went crazy for like a minute. It was quite clear who was going to walk away with that election. Those boys walked in to stop Ababu and his team from taking over ODM. I mean, let's talk a bit about the bush.
Etale, what would be wrong with Ababu and his team winning that election? It's still all within ODM. What would be wrong?
First, Jeff, before I respond to that, he said that was a well choreographed event. Let me tell you something, Ngunjiri. By you saying that that was a well choreographed thing, it means that you've got a lot that you know that none of us knows.
Yeah, but he was with ODM up until Friday.
I was the head of operations for ODM.
No, you're head of operations for only 7 months, for heaven's sake. Just keep your cool, man. Let me talk. Let me talk. 7 months, and you made a lot of money. You are, I mean, why would you be working with the city councillors carries in tow? I mean, if you didn't make a lot of money from the ODM, whatever, political affairs, whatever, what? Anyone could do it. What I'm saying is...
This guy has just...
Shut up. Okay, gentlemen, let's come back to our point.
Let's come back to our point.
We're losing. You didn't answer my question.
Yes.
To whose credit would it be if Ababu's team won?
Ababu Namwamba is ODM member. Yes. He's a life member of the ODM. And so is Dr. Zani. And so is Senator Elizabeth Ongoro. And any other person who was running for any position that was vacant, and still they are vacant in the national office. I will say this. Whatever happened at Kasamani, as I said from the onset, is still under investigation. Personally, I would have wished that to happen. Whatever happened, let's put it aside. Let investigators carry out their investigations, find out the root cause of what happened, and then when the report is brought to the public, you can call me here and ask me those questions.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If this had happened in another party's elections, what would you all be saying right now?
You know, he's in Kanu, and he has said a lot about what happened in ODM. So I would also say much about what would have happened in another political party.
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone is allowed constitutionally to express themselves and say anything they want.
Okay, but don't you think it's left a bad taste in people's mouths, Etale?
No. Have you heard Honorable Babu complaining about it? Have you heard Honorable Zani complaining about it? Have you heard Ongoro complaining about it?
Long, Etale.
No, they're just saying investigations must be carried out to ensure that to bring the culprits to book.
I need to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
I need to say something. First and foremost, there's no way 10, 20, 30, 40 men in black, and there are not even that many, are going to walk into a rally.
So you know the number. You know the number.
We saw the numbers on TV.
Okay.
Wait, now come. Let me
only saw 10 people.
Let me speak. Etale.
On TV, on news.
You saw 10 people.
On news.
How is it? How can you tell me that ODM had private security? There were dignitaries in that place who were secured by government. They did not arrest even one of those guys. One of them. So how do you tell me these were guys who came to the middle of a field surrounded by 2,800 delegates and not even one was apprehended? How does that work?
So you are confirming that the police conspired with the so-called men in black?
But you can do
citizens.
You can do citizen arrest, my friend.
Who could have done that? That place was in a mess. Nobody could have dared to touch anyone. By the way, let me ask you a question. How can a police armed with an AK-47 fail to arrest somebody who's not armed?
We need to move on from this because you're sinking.
You're going down south.
You're sinking. And you know,
even your party leader,
it's a tough
even his party leader,
even his party leader
apologized. Move on from this.
Your party leader apologized.
Look here, apology was inevitable. That one, because chaos had erupted, election had not been done, and you know a lot of expectations had been dashed.
Okay.
So that apology was warranted.
Let me ask you this, Etale.
And the party leader was a leader.
Yes.
He had to apologize on behalf of the party.
Etale,
was the party leader.
Was any of this planned?
I doubt. I don't think so.
It was spontaneous.
Let investigations be done. Then after that, the report is tabled. That's when you will know what really transpired.
Ngunjiri, Monday morning,
yes.
Nairobi, the Star,
yes.
in your column, you said you quit. You've
I'm
had
done.
enough. You're walking away.
I'm done.
Why?
For me, these elections was a big thing. As my brother Etale says, after the elections, my first disappointment with ODM after the elections was when they started saying that we lost the election because it was stolen. It was not, we did not lose that election because it was stolen. We lost that election because we were disorganized. And for me, I expected that we were going to learn something from that experience. When you start spinning that, that was my first disappointment. My second disappointment
So do you admit that you all lost fair
we
and
lost the
square?
election.
Fair and square.
I mean, really, we lost that election.
As a director of political affairs,
Yes.
why didn't you organize what was disorganized?
I was one person. I was part of a presidential
No,
secretariat.
you had a lot of people behind
my
you
work
and
was
used
very
to work with
simple.
a
Let me
budget full of
explain to you.
money.
Let me explain to you what
I'm
my
asking
work
the
was.
questions, okay?
Okay,
Yes,
thank
let me
you.
explain to you what my work was. My work was to execute. That's what an operations person does. Decisions are made, I make them happen. That was mine. I made sure the trains left and they reached where they're supposed to reach. That was my work.
Etale, real quick, did you all lose the election? Did you lose last year, a year ago
We didn't
today?
lose. That's Ngunjiri's own opinion because he knows who butters his bread.
Did you win?
We won the election.
ODM won.
Blue-black, we did.
Let me ask.
Etale.
This is what I'm talking
We
about.
won the election, and even the American academicians have also.
Which ones?
They have said that the election, Raila won by 42%. Uhuru came second with 41%.
This is why I say this party is not going anywhere.
Nobody,
You cannot
nobody.
1 year later.
According to
A
observers,
year later.
1 year later, we're still having propaganda being spun on a loss that we lost.
Etale, let me ask you this. What about the Supreme Court decision later on? What do you think? It was unanimous. It was 6-0.
Yesterday, I heard the Speaker of the National Assembly say the judiciary makes idiotic rulings. So I believe so. Thank you.
Ngunjiri?
Really. And now I can tell, this is the head of communications for ODM. It tells you the kind of the substance that we have left in ODM at this moment in time. There's some things you cannot spin. You cannot spin that loss. Elliot, who resigned yesterday, had to go to court to force the IEBC to give records because we did not have a single agent anywhere around the country. We were running for
As
the
a man in
presidential.
charge of-
I was not in charge of that.
Of political affairs, why
That was
didn't
not
you
my work.
ensure that we have agents?
No, I'm saying
You
what
are
I'm
part of
saying
the
is
failure.
Gentlemen,
we must accept.
Gentlemen, can
we
I read a couple of
failed.
tweets because this TL is going crazy, and since I lost my iPad in the pool last week, I now have the
still
pleasure of a Nokia Lumina
How much is it?
1520. But do I say?
How many dollars?
I just whisper.
Rent for how many people? Okay.
Peter Chepkonga. Guys, Etale knows so well that an Ababu win will signal Raila's loss in 2017 presidential ticket. Real quick.
Peter Chepkonga has the right to say anything he wants to. I will not stop him from saying what he wants to say. But I know Ababu is a member of the ODM, and as is every member, every other candidate who was aspiring for any position in the party. Let's not just talk about who would have won, who would have lost. This is a family. This is an ODM family that we need to build. We need to nurture this family. It's a movement. Everyone talks about it. It's in news every day, more than Kanu, where he belongs.
All right.
And
Ngunjiri,
TNA. Who talks about TNA and
Ngunjiri,
Kanu and the URP?
Ngunjiri, I'm going to let you answer this after the
worked-
break. Wait,
I worked-
real quick.
Yes.
It's from Franklin Mkwanja.
Yes.
He's been tweeting all day.
Yes, he's been tweeting all
He's
day.
asking, why did Ngunjiri leave ODM? Why join Kanu? Isn't the final destination TNA? You're going to answer that after the break.
All right.
Let's start tweeting. Keep tweeting because these two gentlemen, I tell you, it's on fire. Somebody call the Men in Black. Better yet, don't.
Don't call them.
At Etale Phil, at Ngunjiri Wambugu, at Koinange Jeff, hashtag JKL. Let's get busy. Jeff Koinange live at the poolside of the Intercontinental returns in a moment. Welcome back to Jeff Koinange live from the poolside of the Intercontinental Hotel. My goodness, the TL's on fire, the bench is on fire. My guests, smoking. Do not call the Man in Black. Well, Ngunjiri Wambugu, Phil Etale, both of them, both were at ODM at one point together. But since Monday, Ngunjiri has quit and is looking for a party. Etale is still at ODM for now.
And for many more years to come.
Ngunjiri, before the break, Franklin Mukwanja was asking that question. By the way, did I say Lumina?
Yes, you did.
It's a Lumia.
I hear.
1520.
I hear.
I just whisper.
Okay. Yes, you asked a question.
When and why? Leave ODM? Why join Kano? Isn't final destination TNA? Real quick.
Okay, but you must give me a chance to deal with this issue of Ababu and why it was not why they were not allowed.
Yes.
I'm going to go into that. I'm going to come down to that.
Good.
I worked with Ababu, I worked with Joho, I worked with Nanok. There are 3 people who are independent-minded in ODM. They're the 3 people who can stand up to the party leader. I've always asked the question, if Raila had walked to Musalia Mudavadi's house in November 2012, and decided that he was going to support Musalia Mudavadi for presidency, who in ODM would have stood up and told him he was wrong, as happened in TNA? Now, if Ababu, Joho, and Nanok were leading that party, they would do it. There are people who do not want independent minds to run that party. And you know the funniest thing? The most ironical thing is that Ababu, Nanok, Joho can actually put Raila Odinga in State House. But these guys are self-destructing. They don't want them. Let me now go to my issue.
No, let me
come back to you, Tali.
He's going to come back.
You won't forget.
Yes.
Finish
Now,
that question real quick.
So the question that Mukwanja has asked is, why did I join ODM? I joined ODM because I believed it was inclusive. I joined ODM because I believed it was democratic. They're not. I mean, you can say I can say a lot of other things, but I'm not going to write a book. So, but I had an amazing time in ODM. I learned a lot about how politics works in Kenya, about how parties operate. I have good things to say about my time in ODM. But Friday, for me, was the last straw. You cannot run a party like that. And that is why I left.
It's a final destination TNA because there's some people who say that you are a mole.
Why would they go to TNA?
You've been a mole.
That's the funniest thing.
He left ODM long time ago.
He
left ODM in April last year. April 2013.
But see, this is my problem with them. If I was leaving ODM in April 2013, when I left ODM on Monday, I wrote a letter. If I was going to leave, I would have written a letter about it.
That was just to cover up what you've been doing, my friend.
What have I been doing?
Anyone can write a letter.
But what have I been doing?
This
is the point I don't understand.
Why did you write the letter? Yeah. Why didn't you write in April last year?
Let me ask you this. Yes. Why does everyone who opposed ODM
become
label a mole?
Ababu was called a mole.
Even Ababu?
Nobody has ever branded... Okay.
Don't say nobody. I mean, Ababu has to defend himself.
Those individuals who have branded him a mole have their democratic right to do that.
Like yourself.
But let me tell you, in ODM, there are no moles, there are more donkeys, there are more rats, there are no rats. And I mean, everyone is equal.
But you just said I was a mole.
You just said Ngunjiri was a mole.
You said it? I was
No, you just said Ngunjiri was a mole. Here on TV.
But you've been doing nasty things.
What nasty things?
I've been
challenging the party.
You've been writing funny stuff about ODM. You've been demonizing the same person who fed you. You've been criminalizing that very person who trusted you and entrusted you with all his thoughts and ideas and policies. My friend,
this is my problem.
No.
ODM.
Friend, you can't hide away from this.
ODM.
You can't hide away from this.
Raila Odinga is a man I respect. Till today, the fact that I challenge him, the fact that I question him, the fact that I criticize him, to them is supposed to be negative. I am an independent mind. I made a decision to join ODM. Incidentally, I was invited to the presidential campaign secretary. I didn't go looking for a job. They looked for me. They gave me the job to run political affairs director. Incidentally, I was on your bench before I joined ODM. So they didn't make me in ODM, which is what these guys keep trying to say.
Let me ask you this question. Why is it that anyone in today's politics started off at ODM? Remember, in 05, the referendum, in 2005.
Actually, they started off in Kanu, boss. Don't be taking our glory,
we're taking the next phase, right?
Okay, yes.
From Uhuru Kenyatta, Musalia Mudavadi, William Ruto, Najib Balala. They were all at ODM at one point. And they left. And the only last man standing, with all due respect, is Raila Odinga.
So you can't be saying it's our fault when we leave.
Look here, I've been trying to...
You can't all be wrong, man.
I've taken time to listen to you, to your shenanigan, and it's my time to respond. Please just shut up. Let me say what I want to say here.
Go right ahead.
Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, Najib Balala, Musalia Mudavadi, Charity Ngilo, and others whom I may not mention here, started this movement during the banana and orange campaigns at the 2005 constitutional referendum. It was an effort that brought together like-minded persons who were opposed to the so-called Wako draft that was drafted in Kilifi.
We don't need a history lesson here, Etale. Just get to the point.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is, when these people came together, some of them were just there for convenience. Let's say Uhuru, the current president of Kenya, was in that movement to oppose that constitution. Then, partially, he just said, I want to go back to where I belong. And he did what he did. And that's what Ngunjiri has done. He's going back to where he belongs. Now, what I'm saying is, Honorable Babu Namwamba is a life member of the ODM. He's one of the staunchest supporters of Raila Odinga. Honorable Otuoma is in ODM. Honorable Paranya is in ODM. Honorable Joho is in ODM. And every other candidate who was standing, or rather who are in the race for the party positions. These people are in ODM. And let me assure you and the general public that these people are in ODM to stay. Nobody's leaving this party. The party is going to remain solid.
Etale didn't answer my question.
Leave.
Maybe you can answer my question.
See,
how come everybody has left the Titanic, if you will?
This is a point that they need to ask
Ngunjiri has no
themselves.
capacity to talk about
No,
ODM
but
because he registered as a member of ODM, an ordinary member, for 10 shillings in September 2012.
Yes.
September.
Yes.
After serving in the Raila Odinga presidential secretariat for 3 months, that's when he decided to make up his mind, oh, I need to be a member of this party. I convinced him at the reception of Orange House, can you be a life member of ODM? You have money.
But for
pay
him,
20,000 shillings.
For him to be in the
And you only
presidential
pay 10
secretariat,
shillings.
This is the question. This is the question I keep
anybody
asking.
gets into
Not
this.
anybody gets to be the presidential campaign secretary,
Sophia.
head of political affairs.
Who brought you in?
This
You said
guy
you
used to
invited.
report-
Who
Yes.
invited you?
Mzee himself and the former chairman of the secretariat. But there's a point you asked. You asked a very good question. How is it? So he's saying all the people who were in ODM when it founded were opportunists. And they were there for their own reasons.
I didn't say,
Are you trying to
I
tell
didn't
me-
use the word
You didn't use,
opportunist.
but I mean, we know English.
So
what you said is that they were there for their own reasons and they left. You cannot tell me that you can start a journey, 4, 5, 10 people, and then 9 of them leave and you blame the 9. There is something wrong, and for me, why I gave up on ODM is because they have refused to learn from the past. When I listen to my brother Etale here speaking, you get the feeling of a guy who has completely refused to face up to the fact that ODM is in a problem.
You know, Jeff.
They will keep spinning, and you know one day, somebody's going to put off the lights,
Jeff, you
as
know,
they leave,
Adolf Hitler
after
once
they've
said
done.
that great liars are also great magicians. This guy is trying to spin what is not there so the public can understand what is not understandable. My friend, face the facts. You are not in ODM. You only came there to make a loot and go. Please be content with what you have and let us build our party.
Etale, let me
We
read
are
a
ready
couple
to build ODM. We'll build ODM and you'll be surprised. ODM.
Etale, let me ask this man something. Do you get paid in ODM?
You think I work for live?
So you don't work for free. You get paid. I got paid. So what is he talking about a loot?
My
I
friend,
mean, for heaven's sake.
my friend,
He does a job for
let's
ODM.
not
I got
go-
paid for
if we
ODM
start,
work for my job.
If you start digging into what happened,
Gentlemen.
you'll be shocked.
Gentlemen.
Viewers will start saying,
Can I read?
"Yeah,
Can I
this
read
guy-"
some tweets? Jared Kirui says, I was once an ODM diehard in the 2007 election, but the leadership of the party made me question its agenda. There's a lot of questions, Etale, and you're the communications director.
ODM has an
way
agenda
forward?
for this country.
What is the agenda?
ODM has a big agenda for this country. ODM stands for democracy in this country. ODM stands for the rule of law in this country. One, Raila Amolo Odinga has always been on the forefront to fight for the freedoms that the likes of Kirui are now using to tweet. During the Kanu times where this guy has joined that regime, you could not even say that. You could not gossip about the system and the regime. These freedoms have been opened because of the struggle, the likes of Raila Odinga, the likes of Timothy Njoya, the likes of James Orengo, the likes of the late Nyona, and every other persons who have fought for the second liberation of the country.
Nixon Kanali Can Etale just admit there is a problem in ODM? A very big problem. It's like that movie Apollo 14 when they said, Houston, we have a problem.
Can Kanale state what the problem is?
Oh boy.
Not Ngunjiri, Kanale. Kanale is a questioner.
No.
I want him to
I'm
specify
not
that
Etale,
problem.
he's going to probably
Jeff,
tweet again.
can I say
Go
something?
on.
There are a couple of things that we need. One, we've seen. He's the head of communications for ODM. He's completely refused to acknowledge there's a problem, including despite what we saw on Friday. Yeah, we are in a situation where he's belittling KANU. What he doesn't admit is the party leader of ODM was the Secretary General of KANU at the end of Moi's regime. You know, we keep blaming KANU for all manner of stuff it did, but at the time when Moi was leaving, this party leader of ODM and a lot of other people, party leader of ODM, party leader of Wiper, were dashing into KANU, hoping they would be left with KANU. Remember, Raila left KANU when Moi chose Uhuru. If Moi had chosen Raila, would he have left KANU? So let's not beat about the bush. Let's not throw brickbats when we live in glass houses. The other thing is, we have a guy here who's, instead of arguing, instead of explaining, what is it, how did ODM get here? ODM has been the official opposition or part of the official opposition for a year. Tell me one thing that they have done as opposition to hold this government to account, except arguing about them. They've just been fighting within themselves, fighting for elections. We expect as Kenyans have been expecting ODM, and I have challenged ODM on my articles to challenge the government, to hold the government accountable, to hold the government. We've been talking about devolution. We are seeing the kind of challenge they're having in devolution, financial, fiscal management. What is it that ODM, what is it that they can say that they are doing now? Forget about running for president in 2017, which is the only thing they talk about. ODM needs to be talking about today so that they can get to 2017.
Hold on. Abdul Latif Hussein is asking, Ngunjiri Wambugu, would you ever go back to ODM?
No. But anyway, they say in politics you can never say never, so things could change. Incidentally, if Ababu Joho and that team had taken over on Friday, I would not have left.
What if Dr. Zani and the rest of the gang had won? You would have left?
Yes. There's no way you're going to, and this is my personal opinion, you will not convince me that, you know, I was watching that elections.
Jeff,
and when Anyang Nyong was trying to calm people down, when he was trying to calm people down, I kept asking myself between Ababu and Zani, who would have done what Anyang Nyong did that
Anthony
day.
Gigi is asking Etale, listen to this. With Etale on ODM, Raila Odinga doesn't need any enemies.
I agree.
Let him say what he wants to say, because I'm defending what is there to be defended. Because I know there are a lot of enemies today fighting ODM. I know there are a lot of enemies, there are a lot of people who want the downfall of ODM. But I can assure that this, or whatever the name is, Anthony somebody, that ODM will not die. Whether they fight it using a skyrocket, whether they fight it using a grenade, ODM will not die. Ngunjiri, you quit ODM yesterday.
The day before yesterday.
The day before yesterday. You've said a lot of things about ODM not holding the government to account, not being a responsible opposition party, official opposition party in Kenya. You've been there. You claim to have been in ODM. Why didn't you give that advice, that peace of mind to the party leadership?
The stories you're saying...
Writing articles does not mean that you are giving. That's your own opinion. You should have gone to the party leadership because you...
But I give advice based on my opinion, my friend.
All his ears.
The problem with you is you still think like a journalist. You're asking the questions.
Jeff,
I'm asking the questions here.
Okay, please ask me now. This guy has talked too much.
Kasos Jose says, ODM, until they accept their mistakes, will never solve any problem. Until they accept.
Every political party in the country has mistakes. TNA, URP. By the way, let me ask you one question. It's a very, very critical question here. When did TNA hold its national elections? Who appointed the Honorable, my good friend, Johnson Sakaja to the office? Was he elected?
Look, this is not about TNA.
No.
You're going off
I'm just
course.
I'm coming to the question.
My friend,
ODM is 10 years old.
ODM
is 10 years old.
Give me time to build my answer. I want to build my answer.
You're spinning again.
I want to build my answer.
Okay, tell you what. Think about your answer in the break when you come back. But don't ask the questions. That's my job, Etale. Otherwise, you may have to take over this bench. Oh my.
One my.
Yeah. Feel it, Etale and Ngunjiri Wambugu have come out guns blazing. And your tweets coming in thick and fast. Keep sending them at Etale Phil, at Ngunjiri Wambugu. Mine is at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag is JKL. Let's have a discussion. That's what it's all about. Nobody's perfect in this game. And the sooner we admit, the sooner we'll get out of this mess. Oh my, what my. Jeff Koinange live from the poolside of the Intercontinental. Takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.
You're watching Jeff Koinange live in association with
And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live from the poolside of the Intercontinental. What a show. In fact, my guests have been on the phone throughout the break, and I asked them who they've been talking to because it seemed pretty serious discussions going on. In the meantime, Philip Etale, Ngunjiri Wambugu, we're talking issues. ODM fallout. Have things fallen apart or has the center held? Kazar is asking, Philip Etale is a joke and an embarrassment to ODM. Anafaa awache hiyo docket yake aende akuwe commander wa Men in Black.
Thank you. That's a very, I think it's one of the most silly comments I've received today since I started tweeting, because what I'm trying to do is basically within my knowledge. And if Kazar believes that I'm supposed to be a commander of a gang, then so be it. I don't fear. I only have one destiny, and I only respect God who created me. Tell him that. Okay, listen, Etale, you were talking about Ngunjiri and Kanu a moment ago, right? But you know, if the camera zooms in on you, Willie, if you zoom in on Willie,
Nice tie.
Etale, you look like you're more into Kanu than anyone else here.
I'm a national fan. Arsene Wenger wears red tie.
Yeah.
Is he a Kanu fan?
For all we know,
Is
he
he a
most
Kanu
probably
member?
is.
This fashion,
Okay.
and I appreciate fashion.
All right, Ngunjiri, are you going to leave? Oh, you've left ODM. Are you going to join Kanu?
Yes.
You've decided?
Yes.
And you have a
I've done
3-month
my
wait?
homework. I have a reason as to why I'm joining Kanu.
Why
vis-a-vis-
Kanu?
Several reasons. Kanu has proven it outlasts personalities. If you think about it, Kanu has been around from the very beginning of Kenya. It still is around. It's gone through Jomo Kenyatta, Tom Mboya, Jaramogi, Moi, Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka. It's still around. Nobody's pretending that Kanu is not in a bad place. But then, unlike ODM, we are actually interested. The people I've talked to in Kanu believe that we can do something. If we can re-engineer Kanu, we can put it back on the map. Second thing, Kanu is an independence party. It's like ANC. You don't destroy ANC because you don't like Zuma. You go back and you figure out how to exchange it, how to fix it. Number 3, we've got a lot of people blaming Kanu for what happened in the past. However, a lot of the people who blame Kanu were in Kanu at some point. Right?
So you think you can change it?
I'll be part of a group. I mean, I was in ODM, for heaven's sake. And we did everything we did. We got 5.3 million votes. Really?
Etale, let me ask you. Yasin Abdi Dagane. Here's an out-of-the-box question. Listen to this, gentlemen.
Yes.
Uhuru and Raila connived to stop Ruto's man Ababu from becoming the SG of ODM. True or false?
I think that is something that is out of context, because I know, and I'm pretty sure that President Uhuru Kenyatta will not have anything to do with ODM affairs. Where on earth would Uhuru and Raila conspire to stop a candidate who is vying on ODM ticket to win a seat? Honorable Babu Namamba is an ODM member. He canvassed the whole country talking to delegates, and he deserved to get the votes that he wanted to get. And so is any other candidate who stood for any position in the party. So the issue of Uhuru and Raila conniving to deny somebody votes is neither here nor there. I think that's just cued.
Okay. Isaiah Amunga, he says, no wonder Arsenal cannot win anything. With supporters like Raila and Etale, can anything really be won?
Even God supports Arsenal. Has he ever lost any battle? Thank you.
Well done. That was a nice one.
That's a good line.
That's
Good
a good one.
comeback.
That's a good line.
Good
That's a
comeback.
very good line.
Nixon
Did
Koinange,
very well,
instead of
Steve.
moving out of ODM, why
Yes.
can't Ngunjiri try to be the solution to the problems facing the party?
Because of Men in Black. Remember, Men in Black stopped a process that could have fixed the party. Now, really, they were stopping Ababu, Joho, Nanok, and their team.
What makes you think that Ababu Johannanok team was being stopped? Let's wait until the
They were being
investigations.
They were being stopped.
If that's the opinion that you have,
That's my opinion.
then take it to the investigators
No.
and tell them this is what happened.
Look, my
please,
brother.
please, you are not in ODM. You are no longer in ODM. Let us sort out our issues. Let us sort out our
Okay,
issues.
sorry.
Please don't talk about ODM.
No,
talk about Kanu.
no,
talk about Kanu Yajenga Inji. Oh, Kanu Yajenga Inji. That's what you want to sing. You want to be the choir
Jeff,
master
Jeff,
of Gideon Moyes'
Etale,
party.
Etale,
This
Etale,
is
before
the
you
guy.
answer
He's the host.
Etale, you look like you're pretty annoyed, man. You
No,
look
I'm
like
not
you're
annoyed.
getting very
This guy keeps
defensive.
on dragging
No.
funny
Let me
stuff
explain
into what is
something.
not there.
Let me explain.
My friend, no. If you know anything which you don't know, please, when that task force is formed,
Yes.
go to it, sit down, and tell them exactly what happened. Let me tell you this.
Can I
when that
speak?
thing was happening, you spoke.
No, I haven't.
And you
You
spoke
interrupted
for a
me.
long time.
No, you've interrupted me, my
I
friend.
can't interrupt you.
Okay,
Huh?
you're wasting time. Carry on.
Let me
Finish your point. Finish your point.
Okay, finish your
When that thing was happening, even before it happened at Kasarani, some operatives, some status operatives, I think they were being commanded by Ngunjiri Wambugu, started tweeting that there's doom at Kasarani, there's going to be violence. Where did they get this information? Please give us this information.
You
in
say
that
they did this
task
before
force.
it happened?
Yes. I won't
me-
mention names here. I won't mention their names
You
here.
could mention.
It's always on Facebook, Twitter. These people are there.
We know who
And
you're
they-
referring to.
Yeah.
Let me
Proceed,
say
go
something.
ahead.
First and foremost, we're talking about investigations for a process that people could have been arrested. We saw policemen arresting some guy who was pickpocketing people, but we didn't see them arresting any of the guys who were any of those men in black, right? Even one, not even one.
Even to date.
To date,
Post that
ODM.
question
Let me
to the police.
let me finish, my friend. You've just spoken and finished. We have a situation where Etale is trying to tell Kenyans that 10 people can walk into a rally, into a election, into a ODM conference, destroy property, and leave and then investigation. And by the way, the report was done, I think 2 days ago, to the police. Nobody had reported since Friday. The second point, he keeps asking why I'm talking about ODM. ODM is funded by my taxes and a lot of other taxes of people who do not belong to ODM. Now I'm outside ODM, but that doesn't mean that I stop being interested in what happens in the party. They got 28, or is it, how much million shillings of taxpayers' money? This is money that they need to account for. They spent 32 million shillings on Friday for a process that collapsed.
ODM has always
This is
accounted for every single
What I'm telling
cent
you,
they
let me
receive from the
finish.
government.
Let me finish. I'm
They are
telling you,
always
no.
accounted.
Etale, let him
Etale, let me
finish. I'll get
finish.
back to you in a sec. Go.
Because Etale wants to tell Kenyans we cannot talk about ODM unless we're in ODM. ODM is being funded by taxpayers' money.
Okay.
Anybody has a right to comment on ODM.
The Makodingo. I'm sure you know him.
Yes.
Makodingo.
Daktari, yes.
Daktari. He says, I have no communications background, but I have a feeling I could do a better communications director job.
Let him take it. I'm not dying to be in that position. They've been fighting for this position. Let them come and take it. I'll not die. My mother died the other day. If she died, so everyone will go. Me, I'm there, and I know what I'm doing is to the good of the party.
Tell me something,
I
Etale.
know what I'm doing is the betterment of this party. I'm defending this party from the likes of Ngunjiri Wambugu, from the likes of Makodingo, who lied to Kenyans that he was in ODM, yet he was on the party list of TNA, standing as a senator in Homa Bay. Let him come out and deny this.
Let me ask you this.
Let him not start spitting nonsense to the public as if he knows everything. That
Etale,
we know.
24 hours after Ngunjiri quit, Eliud Owalo wrote a letter to his boss, and he was a senior personal aide.
Actually, was my boss.
He was your boss during the campaign. Senior aide.
Did you ever respect him?
Etale,
Come on.
Etale, you're not listening to me, man.
Okay.
He ups and quits. I mean, is this the beginning? I mean, are the signs there, Etale? Help me understand. When senior people like that start quitting the ODM machine, what does that say?
I think yesterday the party leader responded to that, and I'm too junior to contradict what he said.
Are you disappointed with Owalo's exit?
I would say everyone has a right to decide their destiny. If you want to join KANU like my colleague Ngunjiri has done, so be it. If you want to join sisi kwa sisi, nyinyi kwa nyinyi, kwenyu kwa kwenyu, I mean, it's your right to do that. You cannot be stopped. Raila Odinga cannot stop me or any other member of the ODM. Neither can he stop Ngunjiri from quitting ODM. But what we are trying to say is that ODM is a movement. It's a movement that welcomes everyone, that believes the basic tenets of democracy. And that's why we are trying to say that if there are some teething problems or small problems there and there, these are going to be solved. And trust me, dear Kenyans, that everything will be back on track very soon. Okay. Watch this pass.
I've got to read this again. This is Franklin Mukwanja, right? He says, Raila Odinga needs to overhaul Secretariat. It is awfully ill-equipped. Then he says, JKL show is more shameful than Kasarani. Really? Really? I mean, when you stoop to this level, you know he's just hating.
But there's a point this guy has just made. Teething problems. A party doesn't have teething problems when it's nearly 10 years old.
Okay, Ngunjiri, we have 2 minutes or 3 minutes left to go. I'll let you have that word and then you have the final word. Go, Ngunjiri.
Couple of things. I wish ODM all the best. But if they're going to make it beyond this point, they must first start looking back into the past and learning from the mistakes that they have made. Two, they need to overhaul. Actually, I agree on the first part of Mukwanja. We need to overhaul that secretariat. We need to overhaul the management of the party. And we need people who can tell the king when he's naked. I tried, I was called a mole, I have left. I hope the people who've been left, I don't know whether Etale can do it, but I hope the people who've been left will actually tell the king when he's naked.
Etale is busy tweeting.
It's not going to happen.
Etale is busy tweeting.
Others ODM is not going anywhere.
Etale, you have the last word.
We are all born ignorant, but one must work hard to remain stupid. We are not going to be stupid in ODM. We can't allow that to happen. We are going to put our house in order. Elections are going to be held within 90 days, as it was said. And the likes of Ngunjiri and others who are happy making noise on Twitter and social media, Facebook, will be put to shame. But one thing I will say is that when a great man coughs, every other person catches the fever. ODM is a great political party. Whatever it did, whatever it does, always makes these other small parties, TNA, URP, KANU, shake and tremble. ODM will stand, and it will remain standing. I remember an MP, a Jubilee MP yesterday told me, Philip, my brother, I've known you for long, since your days in the media. Tell your boss, we form parties to take us to State House. If it's about posterity, go to the US. That's balderdash.
Okay, you know what?
We must make our parties strong. We must form parties that are there for posterity, not just to win
so
or
you're
reach
saying
power.
Things have not fallen apart?
Things have not fallen apart. Ababu Namwamba is on board, Joho is on board, Nanok is on board, Otome is on board, Zan is on board, Ogor is on board. We are going to come out very strong.
6 months from now.
We'll smile,
Six
we'll
months
laugh.
from now, if things have fallen apart, will you come on this bench?
I will. And I'm pretty sure I'll come here smiling, saying that ODM is as united as never before.
Philip Etale.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Cheers.
And Jacom will still be in charge.
Jacom is a party leader of the party.
Thank you.
Until he's removed from office
Ngunjiri.
through an election.
It's been nice, man. It's been
He's
real.
still the party leader.
Good to see you
real.
guys. At Etale
Let's have
Phil,
respect for Jacom as well.
Captain.
Thank you.
The
Yes.
captain.
Yeah.
At Etale Phil, at Ngunjiri Wambugu, at Koinange Jeff. That's what we're talking about. Keep the tweets coming. And that's what it's all about, because as I keep saying, the day we stop talking and debating is the day we start fighting, and the day the men in black show up. Perish the thought. Thanks so much for watching the show tonight. Tomorrow night, remember the tweeting chief? Chief Karaoke from Nakuru County? We're bringing him on. He's a great guy and he's doing great things. He's going to come on the bench tomorrow live. Thanks so much for those watching us in closed caption for the hearing impaired. Marissa Awiti is our person doing that. In the meantime, the news continues with Nancy Kachungira and Ben Kitili. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Jeff Koinange live on the poolside of the Intercontinental. Good night and good luck.
And God bless ODM.